Hello, and welcome to the very, very first mesmerizing messaging session. Very exciting. So thank you all. First of all, thank you so much for everyone that joined in and responded and shared your thoughts and your opinions and your preferences in the questions that I asked yesterday. I love asking questions of you all and hearing your amazing insights, and I especially love the reasons behind and the reasons why, and I think that's such a great such a wonderful thing that happened inside a group that is for highly sensitive people, because it's just such a it's one of our traits, right? That we are deep thinkers and we look at things and we have different perspectives and different insights. And so I love that even in your responses to my questioning, that came out, those traits came out. And I know people over the years who have said, well, you shouldn't outsource your business decisions to anyone else, you have to make them yourself. And like, in terms of the final decision, absolutely the business owner has to make that final decision. And I love getting other people's opinions. I don't see it as about giving away power or giving away decision making or kind of pandering to anyone else's needs or desires, but it's such a great way to find out like what you really think, what you really like, and then yes, absolutely, the final decision will come back in my business to me, and in your business back to you. And so you might be surprised or intrigued or something to see that actually we went with option 3, and we're calling it mesmerizing messaging. And that's because that really is at the core of everything I do and everything I've ever done. And I imagine you might also in your business journey have moments where you forget what you do and you're like, hang on a minute, who am I again? What do I do? And what I did was look back at from the very, very first days of being in business back in late 2014, early 2015, and it's always been there, always. First of all, I felt it as simply this desire, this even more than a desire, like a compulsion to find another way to grow my business. I remember looking out there at all the tactics and tricks and tips that were being taught, and as a very highly sensitive person, right, very in tune with my body, with my energy body, I would just get like, no, that's a no. I don't want to do that. That doesn't excite me, that doesn't enliven me, that either bores me or repulses me or exhausts me, right? The idea of some of the tactics that are taught are exhausting. So I'm very happy to be able to tell you, after 6 years of exploring, and the last couple of years really seeing a really fulfilling and delightful boom in my business, in my work, in my community, which is just so exciting, that there is another way. That 100% is another way. And I also feel that it doesn't need to take anyone else 6 years. The world has changed and people are ready. And what I have decided, it wasn't really a decision, it kind of just arrived in my consciousness. As you know, things sometimes do, right? Suddenly it's there, suddenly you're ready. And what arrived was these names for these 2 different types of business building. And one is transactional and one is transformational. And so in a transactional business, right, profit is the bottom line. Yeah, it's profit at any costs, at all costs. And we are seeing in our world every day those costs. And if someone was to do business from that place, you know, they would get on a sales call with a desire for a specific outcome, right? I want to close this sale. I want to have I'm here with an outcome I want to achieve based on my, my wants, yeah? In a transformational business, is profit important? Of course, we cannot be sustainably in business unless we're making a lovely profit, right? Because otherwise we have to go and do something else. And that takes time and energy away from living our purpose and for showing up and serving those who we're here to serve. So is profit important in a transformational business? Of course. But it's not profit at any costs. And so to use the same example and give you the different scenario, in a transformational business, you would show up on a sales call with the intent to serve, with the intent to be there with an open heart, listening for how can I best serve this person who I have the honour of getting to be with for this short time, and this might be the only time I ever get with this person, and how can I best show up and serve them. And if that is to offer them your work, then beautiful, right? But there's more honesty, there's more integrity, and there's less attachment to a certain outcome. And so for me, this distinction between transactional business, where profit is the aim, and transformational business, where profit is important, but the real reason you're doing it is because you want to be playing your part in the changing that our world is going through, is what helps me make decisions in my business. How am I going to show up here? What am I going to say? What decisions am I going to make? And what I have realized over time, listening with love to my clients, you know, really hearing what they say, is that for the women I work with, and yes, it is mostly women. I do have a couple of private male clients, but mostly women. And what they really want is to be a part in creating transformation, right? That is the number one goal. And there are still business owners out there who will say, no, that's not really true. Like what they really most want to do is make money. And I just don't believe that anymore. Money is important, absolutely. And I think it's actually vital, and it's a way that we can create transformation in the world, right? When we have it, when those of us who are tuned in, big-hearted, intelligent, truly open-minded, right? Not just open-minded in one direction, which isn't really open-minded, but that's a whole other conversation. Truly open-minded, truly loving. When the money is in the hands of the people like that, oh my goodness, will we be able to create even bigger change? Yes, but look again how that is still the aim, right? The desire is to have the money so we can make empowering decisions, so we can channel it to causes that we care about. And yeah, one of those causes that we care about might be ourselves, right? You are as worthy a cause as anyone else. And it's essential that you get your needs and your desires met as well. If what you need to feel at your best is to be wearing really lovely clothes made from, you know, ethically sourced material that feels soft and gentle on your tender, sensitive skin, then that's what you need, right? And that costs money. It does. So yes, money is important, but it's about what it makes possible for those of us who have playing a part in our changing world as their number one aim. And so This brings me to the tagline of this show. Finding the right words. What do I mean by right? In the context of what I was just talking about, in the context of transformational business, as opposed to merely transactional business, the right words to grow that beautiful transformational business, that means you can be doing your deepest, truest work in the world and receiving money in return. The right words in that context are your truest words, your deepest words. They are your heart on loudspeaker, right? Growing a transformational business requires you to not only show up, right? Showing up is only half of it. Like, being willing to be seen is only half of it. We need to be willing to reveal who we really are. Reveal our hearts. Put our hearts on loudspeaker. Broadcast our hearts. And so the right words when it comes to wanting to grow a transformational business are the ones that come from your heart. They're not the ones that come from thinking, now what do my ideal clients need to hear, and how do I meet them exactly where they are, and I wonder what they're lying awake thinking about in the middle of the night, and then I'm going to prod that pain. No. Being aware of the pain they're in, if they're in pain, yeah, of course. But then sending out your heart message to that pain, right? Imagine you're sitting next to them. What do they need to hear? And I'm aware I just completely contradicted myself, right? But it's from a different place. Instead of kind of that intellectual, oh gosh, yeah, okay, so like, how do I make sure they get it? Right? How do I make sure they understand the value of this? Which is a very heady place. It's a very trying to prove place, trying to convince people place. And the energy of that is honestly, it's a little bit repellent, right? And what we want to be doing is just showing up, not with a specific outcome, but with an intention to serve, right? Not prodding people's pain points and then positioning ourselves as the magic pill to help them get out of it, right? But revealing our hearts, revealing ourselves as a safe space that these people can come to, can share about who they're with, knowing they won't be judged by you, they won't be made wrong. So those words, those right words, they are in your heart. And they reveal your heart, your hopes, your dreams, your fears, right? Your beautiful, tender humanity. That is how you grow a truly transformational business. That is how your marketing becomes healing. Your marketing becomes healing. So there is no longer this distinction between the beautiful, wild work that you do and then, oh God, I've got to go out and I've got to market it and I've got to sell it and I've got to prove of people of its value and I've got to convince people of its value and, oh God, right, horrible. Like, no wonder we don't want to do that, and we aren't all showing up on Facebook Lives every week. Like, who wants to do that? Not me. But getting to show up and talk about things that you love and things you care about and things you're passionate about, and infusing your messaging, infusing your marketing with love, so it becomes healing. So if that's the only thing anyone ever gets to experience from you, they have already received a little bit of your magic. Does that make you want to show up a bit more? Does that feel like something that you would actually want to show up for? I'd really love to know your answer to that question. Where are you on that spectrum? Do you believe marketing could be healing? Would you like to believe it, but you're not quite sure? Do you believe it's possible, but maybe not for you? Are you already showing up in a way that feels fully in alignment with who you are, in integrity? You know, when you look back over your social media feed or you reread your blogs, you're like wowed with your own wisdom and love. I would love to know. And I am going to have a little scroll. Actually, I'm not going to try and scroll there. I'm going to open here and come and have a look at some of your comments, because I can see that they are coming in. If you haven't said anything yet, I'd love to know that you're here. So please say hello. I don't know that you're here unless you say hi. So, hi Ali, hi Julie, hi Lorraine, hi Deb. So Deb, do you think it's possible to have a halfway house of transformational and some element of transactional in big corporate business where they aim to disrupt and transform their sector but still have shareholders and need to make profit? Yes, and I wonder if I'm not sure when you wrote that, if I already answered that question, because in transformational business, it's not that profit is not important. Profit is absolutely important, right? The distinction is that it's not profit at any cost. Because when it's profit at any cost, that obviously is going to guide decision makings down certain routes, and those decisions would ultimately serve the shareholders, but not the other people that business, exists to serve, right? So I'm not sure I'd call it a halfway house even. I would just say that it needs to still be a priority. Profit needs to be a priority in a transformational business. The distinction is that it's not profit at any cost, right? Thank you, Juliet. Love that you love those distinctions. And thank you, Deb, for asking that question, because it helped me to clarify my articulation of that distinction. Yes, exactly, Sarah. Someone mentioned pain point marketing recently and it made me cringe. It makes me cringe too. I hate it. I did an entire training inside my story studio for how to... I normally love naming things. This is an awful name. It's so long. It's how to empathically meet your clients in their pain without unnecessarily prodding it. So if anyone can think of a more succinct way to say that, please share with me. But that is the essence of that whole training, and it's something that I have first struggled with and kind of, struggled inside myself internally with, and then come to this distinction between transactional business and transformational business, and within transformational business, I believe it's out of integrity if what we're a stand for is a new kind of leadership, right? A more, we could call it feminine type of leadership, feminine energy. If what we're a stand for is people coming into their full self-expression, knowing that nothing about who they are is wrong, right? You cannot get being you wrong. And that's what I believe. That's one of my deepest held beliefs. This is me putting my heart on loudspeaker and sharing with you. You cannot get being you wrong. You can't. You're you. So go be you. And so if I believe that, right, let's take that as an example. If I believe, which I do wholeheartedly, that you cannot get being you wrong, and then in my marketing, I prodded your pain points, right, which would be things like insecurity, lack of confidence, all the things that you do think are wrong about you. If I deliberately use that knowledge to press your pain points, I would be being out of integrity with my core message that who you are is lovable. Who you are is exactly who the world needs right now. So can you feel how in that context, if what your work is about, if what you do with someone when they come into your space and your presence, is help them find freedom of self-expression, help them fall in love with who they really are, help them stop like being so mean to themselves inside their head, right? If that's what you do in your work, but then in your marketing you use really old paradigm tactics that press people's pain points, I believe that's out of integrity with your bigger work in the world, your bigger mission in the world. And most of us, whether we would articulate it like this or not, most of us who are working currently in a position as a coach, a healer, a teacher, a trainer, a facilitator, a holder of space, a healer, whatever word you feel aligned with, guide, I like the word guide myself. If we're, for those of us who are in that kind of bundle, right, who are in that healing space, most of us, whether we would kind of see it exactly like this or slightly differently, we are wanting to change the value system of the world, right? We can stick right now with our own culture or our own community. We're wanting to shift the culture system, the value system. Yeah, so that we stop valuing like doing, and we start valuing rest, right? Stop valuing this idea, totally false made up idea of perfection, right? And like got it all sorted and looking a certain way, and start valuing just being a human, right? A messy, muddling through human. Yeah? And they're just two examples, but most of us, if you look under what you do with your clients, it's about a shift in value system, which is how we create change, right? So as whether you work with individuals or large groups, if everyone whose magic you touches then walks out in the world differently, then walks out in the world going, oh, I'm tired, I think I'll have a rest. Instead of, why am I so tired? God, what is wrong with me? Oh, why can't I have as much energy as that other person? I'm rubbish. Right? It's like the voice inside their head changes. And then the voice they put out in the world changes. Our world changes. Right? When we tell different stories occur. And so if your work is in that realm of value shifting, literally like changing the culture, changing the system, but then we use old paradigm ways to market that new paradigm work, again, for me, that's like it's a clash, right? It's a clash of value systems. And so no wonder we don't want to do that. No wonder, because it's not in integrity with who we really are. So if you've been kind of wanting to show up, wanting to market your world-shaping work more, and then not, and then making that mean something wrong about you, right? Maybe maybe you're not the problem, right? Maybe the ways you've been taught to do that are simply not in alignment with what you truly believe, who you truly are, and how you really want to be showing up in the world. So back to the right words. The right words are the ones that are your deepest, truest, most aligned, heartfelt message. They are not the ones that try to prove, right? No needing to prove anything about who you are. No needing to be seen a certain way. Can you feel the relief in that? You don't need to be seen as perfect. Don't need to be seen as got it all sorted. Don't even need to be seen as an expert. Just you. Just you. Not the words that try to explain everything or convince, but the words that come from your heart, the words that reveal your heart. That is the best way to grow your business, to put your heart on loudspeaker, broadcast your heart message. The people who want your real work, right? The work where you get to show up to the Zoom call, the workshop, the retreat, whatever it is, and simply be you. Those people will hear and resonate with your heart message. And that is when you will start to get messages in your inbox like, oh my goodness, I'm not even sure why, but I think I need to work with you. All right, selling, it just becomes easier. In some ways, it's down to trust. Like when you show up as who you really are and your marketing and your work are congruent, both with each other and with you, people feel that and they can trust you. And the opposite of that, right, is the looking out, like doing every webinar out there, every new training, right? This external opinions, external input, and what I call the shoulds and oughts police, right? The shoulds and oughts police will murder your business dreams. They absolutely will. So what I'm going to be doing with these mesmerizing messaging sessions is each week coming in and broadcasting my heart, sharing ways in, right? Ways in to your heart to find the right words because they're inside you. And I'm also going to be sharing ways to be with, to ease the voices that get in the way, right? The shoulds and oughts police, your people pleaser, the perfectionist, right? The rebel, if left unattended. I've got quite a rebel. Most of my clients have quite a high rebel, but and great, right? We need a little bit of rebel, but if left unattended, she will get in the way of your business success. And the fear of what other people think. Right, so I'm going to touch on the different voices, the different ways we get in our own way. We hear our own wisdom and then we don't show up. Why? What is going on there? Right, and give you some ways to just alleviate and soothe some of those voices so that you have more inner freedom to show up. And not just show up, as I said, but show up as the fiercely tuned in, like, human that you are, right? Broadcasting your heart. So that's my loving rally cry to you today, for you to find ways for you to broadcast your heart. Put your heart on loudspeaker, right? Love louder. Hate is so loud. It's so loud, and we really need more love. We need loud love. So any ways that you can find to love louder, please go follow them. So before I finish, I'm just going to have a final look at your comments. Deb, great. I'm glad you liked the distinction. Exactly, Ali. It is time to shift from the masculine paradigm of how to be successful. 100%. Yeah, it's beyond time. It's beyond time. And it takes all of us, right? It takes all of us really living our value system. So not looking out there and judging what we see. I mean, we can do that, right? We're humans, and we will, like, hands up. I've got, strong judgments about things that happen, right? No attempt to pretend I don't. But then I use that to, like the grit in an oyster shell, right? That makes the pearl. Like, how do I want to show up? If I judge that, and I don't like that, and I don't want to be that, instead of just moaning or complaining or making that the problem, how do I want to show up? And this is my answer, right? Fully self-expressed. A few notes, like this is, I made some notes, but essentially tuning in, right? That's always the first step. Always the first step. Getting quiet. Tuning in. What do I really want to say? So that shift in value system, this is what it takes. We are at, I believe, a fork in the road, and we could go either way, right? We really could. And if those of us who see what's currently wrong with the world and how we would like it to be instead, if we sit at home worrying about being seen as weird or woo-woo or a dreamer or unrealistic or whatever version of that we have, if we let that inner voice win, then we're part of the problem, right? But if we just go, okay, hey little voice, right, that wants me to keep quiet and safe, like, thank you, because I know that you're just trying to keep me safe, and I'm up for something bigger, actually, right? I'm up for coming together with my sisters and my brothers and raising our voices and loving louder. And that's what I choose. And that's what I'm going to do every day until it's no longer needed, because it's so normal. Right? That's the world I dream of, a world where having your heart on your sleeve is just totally normal. And like crying on a bus is totally normal. And asking for a hug when you feel sad is just totally normal. Right? And knowing that different people have different opinions and we're not always ever going to see eye to eye was totally normal. And it doesn't mean anything about who we are. It doesn't mean we're wrong. It doesn't mean they're wrong as a human being. Right? So, and that, I love that it's coming back to that, because that is the very first talk I ever gave at the Inspired stage in London. And it was about how the way we show up now has the power to make the world we dream of more or less likely. We have that power. So let's use it. All right. So that is your mesmerizing message for today. I shall see you next week. I'm not entirely sure of the time going forward. Let me know if this time worked for you. And I hope to see you then. And thank you so much for being with me live, for the interaction. I love it. If you are watching later on a replay, please like and love and comment. Let me know your heart thoughts. And if you think that this would serve other people in your life that you know have things to say that the world needs, has magic that the world needs, has love that the world needs, and they just need that little extra love and kick up the butt to get it out there, and then please invite them to this group. The best way to do that, otherwise they won't know what it's about, is to just send them a little private message. Don't put the link because that's like a bit spammy, but just send them a message and say, like, I'm in this group and there are weekly trainings on how to really build your business by sharing your real message and your heart. Let me know if you want an invite, right? And then if they say yes, then send them the link for the group, okay? So yeah, always get permission first. No spammy links. I'm so glad it's exactly what you needed to hear today, Jenny. Amazing. And I hope I'll get to see you tomorrow at the Positioning Lab. Yes, exactly. Loud love, right? Let's all love louder. Okay. Mwah. Bye for now.